What's it? Like that. Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So the clock is on time, and I would like to welcome you all for being here today and sharing this start of this initiative with us. And welcome. We have some. Let's see. Switch slides. I have to click. No, this. So we are here today because we believe that well-being and mental health skills are human rights and of monumental importance to scientific excellence. And our vision for this Coaching in Science initiative is to create a collective support system, providing learning opportunities for mental health and well-being, using evidence-based knowledge and also sharing from experience of people within our community. And all with the purpose to improving both quality in science and in life for us who works in science. Currently, it's me and Sami, and to share one personal why I started this initiative is that I have felt low moods over failed experiments. I have cried out of frustration, trying and struggling to learn programming. And I have a feeling that I am not alone in this experience. And during my PhD here at SciLifeLab, I came to the realization that my worth as a person and a human being is not connected to the results that I produce in my research. And still to this day, on occasion, I have to remind myself of that.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm Sami, and why I'm here, I feel that this is very important topic. I mean, science has and academia has some flaws in it, and it's important to keep up these topics afloat and discuss about them openly. What we want to do with this initiative is to remove the stigma and be more open about it. And why I personally have struggled as well with anxiety and all these kind of different issues. And I think it's very important, yeah, to discuss in general about this. And yeah, that's why I'm here. And so first of all, we want to have a disclaimer. I mean, our purpose is not to replace medical help. I mean, we are not professionals, and we are here to just raise awareness, give examples and ways how you can deal with some of these issues that you have. But yeah, please use your own judgment before you take action when you want to move forward with these changes and how you feel that it's important for yourself. So where do we start? I mean, there is, for example, last year was published this study in PLOS ONE where they looked into sports psychology, and they looked into what is the most effective things about when it comes to performance. There is 3 topics on top. There is mindfulness, the mental state achieved by focusing on one's awareness, while calmly acknowledging and accepting the feelings, thoughts, and the bodily sensations. And it is used as a therapeutic technique as well. So there is a scientific base on this. And there is also, second one in this topic is the task cohesion, the shared commitment among the members. You have a goal towards which you want to thrive towards to. And lastly, or the third highest point, self-efficacy. You are, as an individual, believe that your capacity is enough to do these things and to achieve the tasks that you have in front of you. And we find that all these points are very important in science as well, and that the well-being and mental health there needs to be a connection, and that they are important for the scientific excellence in the end.
So to put this in a little bit of perspective, I would like to start to introduce a social acceptance barometer. And this is if we check in with ourselves and feel about what do we feel is socially acceptable. This is how we like internalize social norms around us. So if we think about trauma and treatment when it comes to the physical realm, thinking about a broken leg or a scrubbed knee, I want you to pay attention to your own, what it feels like inside, if this is socially acceptable, not now that I move through these slides on these topics. So for example, having a broken leg or a scrubbed knee, that feels socially acceptable to have, or that this has occurred to you. You go to seek some first aid, you go to the hospital, that feels also okay when you have your broken knee, and maybe you need to do some physical therapy to rebuild your muscles, that feels okay too. And then we also have our own weekly exercise routine. We go swimming, we go running, or we do something. We move our bodies to feel good. And notice now how it feels when we talk about the second column here. When we move into the realm of our mental health, if we encounter in our lives, which most of us do, any type of emotional trauma, traumatic event, an emotional wound or hurt, or emotional neglect by our peers or family, many times the feeling is shock. To then seek help for this is often coupled to shame. And even the thought of going to therapy and talking about this could be not for me. I know this intimately. I have gone through all of them in my own life, dealing with my own trauma. And I do say therapy is great. It's very helpful. I highly recommend it. But for today's topic and this initiative, this has importance because this is where self-coaching comes in. And as Sami mentioned, this is something that we do in sports. So the concept of coaching is also quite socially acceptable, one would say. But what do we mean with coaching then when we talk about this? Well, I work in life science, so I will explain it from my point of view and how I look at coaching with this example. So coaching can be that we ask ourselves questions. What are my thoughts about my thoughts? What are my thoughts about my emotions? And raising awareness in asking these questions. When I have these emotions, what thoughts come up? And to realize that our thoughts shape our emotions, and then they fuel our actions. And our actions affect how we feel. And this is very important, and we place the emotions here in the middle of this model because we may think up all logical reasons why we should do things, but if our body tells us to pause and we don't listen to it, it will start screaming at us to pause, and if we still don't listen to it, burnout lies that way. Another very important concept when it comes to coaching is this line here. Something that is essential to coaching is to create a judgment-free space within each and every one of us, where all of our thoughts, no matter what they might be, all of our emotions, no matter what they may be, all our thoughts and emotions exist in a judgment-free space within us. Anything is allowed, acknowledged, or accepted for just being and existing within us. It is when we cross into this value space, when we do actions that we affect others, that we also need to consider ethics and moral values. But to create this judgment-free space, this is key. Emotions are experiences and thoughts are optional. We believe our emotions to be real because we feel them, and we believe our thoughts to be real because we think them. And when we coach ourselves, we accept the premise that all emotions are acceptable to have. And just because we think something, it does not make it true. And this is very important. We think so many things on a daily basis that we can actually choose to say, this is true for me, and this is not. How long does an emotion last? Is it seconds, days, weeks, years? Most people experience several emotions during a day, but emotional are not permanent and they pass. And when we coach ourselves, we can practice to notice how long did my emotion last. Many times we are very good at noticing when emotion comes in and we experience it, but then less so to notice how long did it stay, when did it go. And by practicing this, we can then proceed to also coach ourselves in reminding ourselves that they are not permanent, because I know that this lasts usually this long. This is examples then of coaching, and Sami will bring up some more.
Yeah. So how can we shift our thoughts? It is possible, but yeah, usually if you can know that it's emotionally uncomfortable, and usually it is not a quick fix. So you have to learn to change your thoughts. So let's take an example. When did you feel anxiety last time? When did you feel that world is you can start to spiral and it's not feeling great? One of the times I felt so, last time we submitted a paper. That's a stressful situation. You start to doubt yourself. You start to feel that, oh, I cannot do this. There is not enough time. There is, it just feels like you start to spiral in your head and it doesn't really work. And, but how do you change your thinking at this moment? What you need to do to make these positive actions, to get yourself into doing things and get yourself in the mood for producing more. You need to have this kind of alignment with your thoughts and emotions. It's important to understand that your feeling is something that is there, but your thoughts should reflect on that and accept that. And what you will get with that is this kind of clarity, peace of mind, and all these other things. And in the end, it will be the strength and freedom that you will gain from it. As we have here in the SciLifeLab campus, we have a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. You can have all those things also for your emotions. And what do these emotions give you is that they give you information about your mental state. How to change these how to change your thinking. It's that you have to accept the reality. You have to accept that this is happening, and you have to be very judgment-free about it. You need to look into your own mind and process your thoughts without judgment, guilt, or shame. Because the self-coaching is a tool that you can equally accept all your emotions, and any emotion is not bad or wrong, it just exists. And when you move towards in the self-coaching, it is always allowed to feel whatever you feel. It's the discrepancy between the actions when it comes to that. And when we think about journeys, this is what you usually think. You have some kind of journey, PhD, academic, some kind of target in life. You hope it's always like this kind of clear journey, but is it ever? Of course not. It's different kinds of obstacles and obstacles to tackle, emotions to feel, and emotions to or solve issues and problems along the way. And at some point you will reach to the point that you will be in the end, but it raises a lot of questions. How can you feel what you feel when you encounter obstacles? How can you cope with these emotions that come from these obstacles, and can you really regulate them? And this is kind of the key or core why we wanted to start this. We wanted to meet some of these challenges in academia more as a mental obstacle that we want to solve and get into the right headspace that you are possible to do everything. Of course, there is many things that you can encounter in academia: imposter syndrome, rejection, anxiety, burnout, stress, dejection, and low mood. And this is what we want to tackle with this initiative. We want to look into these problems, give some kind of advice how you can incorporate in your daily life, and yeah, help to solve that. And we are wanting to create a platform where also you could express your struggles that you have previously encountered and how to solve them, how you have solved them, and give a platform to that.
And on that note, we have a dream. We have a dream of a scientific community where asking questions to learn never causes us to preface them with an apology for asking a stupid question. We have a dream of a scientific community where talking in front of our peers fills us with excitement and joy for the opportunity to develop our research ideas together with others, not anxiety and fear for being judged and being wrong. And we have a dream of a scientific community where rejections in publishing and grant applications are followed by comfort, support, and help from our peers, where we lift each other up to succeed and do not suffer in silence alone. We have a dream of a scientific community where scientific excellence is compatible with work-life harmony and not overtime and burnout. We have a dream of a scientific community where we feel like we belong, where we feel at home, never as imposters standing alone. We have a dream of a scientific community where we feel valued, never as disposable short-term employees that are left drift in the wind when our contract ends. And we have a dream of a scientific community where well-being and mental health skills are treated as human rights. And this is our dream. And we will build this dream on the core values that will guide the work of coaching and science initiatives. And they are cultivating awareness, radical acceptance, beginners' mindsets, compassion, harmony, and empathy. We thank you all for being here today with us, for your attention and listening. And we will now follow up with some questions and reflections here in the room. And we hope that everyone listening on Zoom will also take home and reflect about this. And perhaps if you're listening in a group, also to discuss. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We will pause the recording. Yes, so I will stop.